Can you hear me well? Okay, sweet. Let me play some music and then tell me if the background music is too loud. Hold on. Tell me if the background music is too loud. Oh, I really like the furniture models. They're super nice. Hold on, let me pull them on screen. Oh, I really like the furniture models. Nice. Hold on, let me... The music needs to be a little louder, right? Hold on. You think that's good right there? Okay, it sounds pretty good. It's not too loud. Yo, what's up, Voxel? What do you mean there's no way? Are you saying you didn't have faith in me to ever upload again? Let me post the stream on my Discord really quick. Oh dang, I posted the wrong link. Hold on. The New Year's has blessed us with Clove content. The New Year's brings a lot of things. I'm gonna try to pick up streaming. I'm gonna see how it works out. I don't think it's something that will be like super big, but if I can get just like a couple people to watch, and if they want to ask questions, I think that would be cool. How's it going though, Voxel? How you been? How you been? Yo, what's up, Globert? Man, Globert always comes through with the most insane ideas. Like, if I ever have any questions on what kind of mechanics should be in a game, I can just ask Globert. Alright, Duffable, I'm finally putting the models that you created as the actual loot items in the game. They should work. Oh, let me see. Here, put it back to the other one. I feel like these are more classic, and they kind of stick out more compared to the environment, versus the other ones, they kind of like blend into the environment more. So I don't know, the other ones are like definitely more detailed, but I think I like these better. That's awesome, Voxel. I'm glad to hear. How's the website, the web design thing going? And I've been pretty good. I've just been doing like a ton of dev and just working a bunch. Just a bunch of different side projects. But obviously this is the most fun work right here. Oh, that's sick. You're gonna have to send me it when it's done. I can see the before and after because you sent me the first version. Is it still like the same thing where you're making a like to save the shows that you've watched and things like that? Or have you kind of pivoted to something else? Nice, nice. Yeah, I'm excited to see it. Yeah, that's sick. There's so many of those, like, you definitely get lost. Like, you need to keep a list somewhere. Because then you won't remember, like, have I seen this show or haven't? Okay, so check this out. This is a game that I'm making with a couple friends named Descend. At least that's the name that we've decided for now. But basically, this game is going to involve you spawning in. If you've ever played Deadly Deliveries, it's kind of like that, where you spawn in and you're in a facility. And you have to basically like loot the facility, bring all the loot back to your base, and then extract. So that's the basic overview of it, but there's a lot of cool mechanics involved. So right now we're just working on the procedural generated system. So as you can see, all of the structure that you see here, it's all just generated randomly. We're also testing out the AI. As you can see, they walk. If you come in their line of sight, they start running, but that's a little bugged. I made them really slow, but it seems like they kind of stutter a little bit when they run, so I gotta look into that a little later, but I'm happy with it for now. They can definitely path around, and then if you get out of their line of sight for like a couple seconds, they'll stop, and they'll go back into patrol mode. There we go. See, he's back in patrol mode. And now he's chasing me again. But yeah, this game is called Descend, Voxel. Basically, you're descending into the earth. That's why it's named that. An actual quality game for once. As you know, my previous endeavors haven't been. They've been pretty low quality. But I think all the low quality has combined itself, and now I'm ready to make something high quality. So yeah, this system's pretty cool. Like, I can adjust the. Let me show you how the procedural generation looks from like the server point of view. All right, let's put 500 rooms. And I'm just gonna run it so you can see what that looks like. All right. Thanks for joining for a little bit, Voxel. I'll let you know next time I go live. Hopefully this is like a reoccurring thing. Okay, it looks like these rooms aren't connecting correctly. I gotta look into that. But the idea is they all should interconnect, and it should generate a random structure every time. I think I overloaded it with 500, so maybe that might be causing some issues. And right now it all kind of looks pretty similar as far as like the design, but once we start adding furniture variants and things like that, it's gonna really look like a unique facility every time. But yeah, that's what the system looks like. And there shouldn't be a gap here, so there's a little bit of bugs right now, but the majority of the system's built out. Hey, what's up, Omni? I just saw your chat. Hey, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Not Axolotl? Not Axolotl? Let me know if I got it right. I'm sticking with Axolotl. So, fun fact about this game, it's been in development for like over a month, but we pretty much scrapped the whole thing because we realized we were going in the wrong direction. So it like two and a half weeks of work pretty much went down the drain when we realized like, hey, we could make a way better version if we completely changed the game loop and we changed the grab system and the physics, which basically was everything we had worked on at that time. So I would say, if you're not counting that, probably like 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. Axo, okay. I'll just say Axo. Yeah, but Glover, if you I'm gonna try to stream this the development of this game hopefully the whole way through, or the majority, so if you ever join and you have any suggestions, please put it in the chat. Thanks, Axo. Yeah, we're really working on the organization. If you're a solo scripter, you don't really need too much organization because you kind of remember where everything is, but even that becomes a nightmare when the game gets too big. But definitely when you're partnering up with other scripters, you're gonna need some sort of organization, or else it's just gonna all go to crap. So if you don't have organization, no one's gonna know where everything is, and you're not even gonna want to like mess with the game anymore. Hey, what's up, Landon? Yeah, I really respect your suggestions, Globert, so yeah, I'll read your DMs. I'm doing good, Landon. I'm doing good. I'm glad I have the day off. Usually I'd be working right now, but I got the day off, so I decided, let me try streaming. Glober, probably both. Like, if you have like a quick idea on the spot that you want to share with the stream, just put it in the chat. But if you have like a couple different ideas that you're like, yo, this would kill it, then definitely just DM me. That works. I need those ideas saved. Man, I should be paying you, Globert. Okay, so I just put these models that Duffable built. Duffable is our builder, by the way. He's our builder and our modeler, so he's got a lot of jobs right now. I'm gonna go ahead and see if his items are spawning in. Oh, let me not put this at 500. There is too many rooms spawning right now. Let's just change this to 10 rooms. Thank you, Landon. Thank you. No, Duffable's got insane potential. Like, he's already a great builder. I'm excited to see what he does in the future. I really am. The best duo? We actually have a 4-man squad for this game. We're actually heavy on the scripting right now. We have 3 scripters and then Duffable, so Duffable's a little bit solo. We might need to get another builder if he needs one. Oh, the rooms aren't fixed yet. I actually haven't adjusted the rarity of the rooms. I'm trying to figure out why the items aren't spawning. Okay, let me stop the AI really quick because they're destroying me. I can't test with them. Okay. There to ask fetch loot. Okay, so they're all in there. Try that part. Slow down the run animation when you jump? That's a good point. Like, you're saying slow it down right before you jump, or... What do you mean exactly? 'Cause I think I know what you meant, but now that I think about it, I don't think I do. Oh, are you saying like the way that Squid Games does it? I see what you're saying. Actually, I think we're just missing a jump animation, but honestly, I think I like the running midair. I think that looks so funny when the games that I see it in. So I think I'm gonna do... Okay, so... Yeah, so these... So it's the, maybe they're not, anchored, or... Does my script unanchor them? No, they should spawn. Yeah, I could have a land animation too. I think I'm gonna do what Axo said, where I'm gonna slow down the run, and then maybe when you land, have like a land animation, but no jump animation. I kind of like the mid-air running. The models need to come out the furniture, right? The models need to come out. Wait, what do you mean? Are you saying the loot needs to be in the furniture? Okay, let's put these back in. Any tips on how to improve scripting? I would say, yeah, the 30-day series killed me. I'm not gonna lie. I think that was a little too much for me. All right, I'll see you later, Glover. Thanks for joining for a little bit. Tips for scripting, I would say learn the basics first. Like, get a really deep understanding of the basics. And then once you do that, then you start using AI. I think a lot of people try to jump to AI too quickly to replace scripting knowledge, which isn't what it should be used for. Like, for example, right now, I am troubleshooting why these models aren't spawning, but parts are. So I assume when I did this print statement, because I understand the basics of troubleshooting, I see that the items are spawning, but their positioning isn't being set correctly. So I assume that it's a positioning issue. And I could spend 10 minutes digging into the positioning issue and maybe adjusting what's being positioned, whether it's a C-frame for a model, the primary part, or whatever. But because I know the issue, I can pretty much just copy and paste this script into AI and say, hey, I think this is a positioning issue. Can you confirm that these models should be moving? And it'll pretty much... It should give me an answer way quicker than if I were to just dig through myself. So let's see if that works. Yeah, that's really what AI should be used for. But it's kind of like it should be used as your assistant, where you're kind of like the designer or the architect of the whole system, and you kind of tell it like, hey, I need a loop here, I need to do this here, versus you asking it to design a whole game or design even a whole system. Yeah. Yeah, and if you're ever like troubleshooting with AI and it gives you a fix that you don't immediately understand, like it can tell you, oh, this is the issue right here, and you're like, oh, duh. And that's a great use of it because it would have taken you maybe like 5 to 10 minutes of searching, but AI found it in 20 seconds. But if you're like still scratching your head about the solution that it gave you, like it worked, but you don't understand it, then that's when you should stop and try to understand it. Because if you keep moving and you're just going to compile a bunch of things that you don't understand, and eventually it's just going to be messy. Like, you should really understand everything that AI is doing for you. If that makes sense. Axo, what game are you working on? Was that you, the one that was working on the horror game? Or is that not you? See, I just put the positioning error in AI, and boom, now we have models. And as you can see, it says press E to grab. I have a lantern in my inventory. I remember before ChatGPT, I found issues that completely destroyed motivation. See, you should let hard issues actually contribute to your motivation instead of destroy it. Because you got to think about, like, if it's hard, then that means it's worth doing. If it was super easy, then it wouldn't be worth doing. So when you're like really frustrated and spending 10 hours on one issue, you should honestly just take that as motivation. Like, you're doing the right thing. You're doing something that actually is difficult. Thank you, Landon. This is built by Duffable. It's actually procedurally generated, so well, I already mentioned that. I think you were here. But yeah, the build is crazy. I love it. So now I have these 2 items in my inventory. So the idea is you run back to base, and I'm gonna need to make like a highlight that shows where the base is, because I already lost it. Here it is. And now if I go over to this loot section that I've set up, it's gonna remove the items from my inventory. And the idea is the items are gonna be laid out here. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna create a way to physically show these items here, maybe like floating. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. What do you think about the idea? Axo, do you think it's a hit? I think it's like 100k CCU potential. That's just me though, that's just me. Yo, what's up, Kebab? Man, Kebab's an OG. Kebab introduced me to object-oriented programming. I had no idea what it was. Okay, so I'll give you a good example on... Okay, I'll see you later, Duffable. I'll give you a good example on how I use AI. So my goal right now is to display the loot that you capture kind of floating back here. So there's an invisible brick here. I'm gonna make the transparency a little bit lower so that you can see it, but there's an invisible brick here, and I want the loot to display. Hey, thank you, Landon. Man, if we can get even 10k CCU, honestly, even like 1k would be amazing. But I do think that this will get a good amount if we execute it right. So here, I'm gonna turn the transparency down so you can see this brick. $1k CCU rich. It depends on the game, because I have a game right now with like it hit 7k CCU the other day, and then it's hitting around like 1 to 2k CCU, but it's just a brain rot like AI generated game pretty much. Obviously there's a lot of work put into it. I'm not trying to discredit the work, but it's like it's just a brain rot game, so it really doesn't make too much money, but I can't complain. So the difference in a 1k CCU like quality game where people actually like pull out their wallets is insane. You have some games with like 1k CCU making more money than games with like 10 20k CCU. So it really just depends on like if your game is that monetizable. Okay, so let me make this. Small room. This is the loot detection zone, so we're gonna make this 0.5, and then I'm gonna make the color green so that you can see it. It's not showing up because no. Okay, let me check my studio settings. I keep looking at, yeah, it's set to level 21, but for some reason it's not like actually good quality. I don't know why. Oh, maybe this is the setting. Verified on what, Eula? Or Lua? I think I just set my studio quality up. Okay, so Kebab, the game is similar to, I don't know if you've heard of Deadly Deliveries, but basically, you and a couple friends are gonna get in this giant drill machine, and you're gonna drill down into the center of the earth. You're gonna, every 500 feet, let's say, you're gonna get stopped into a facility, and you have to loot the facility and leave. And then you can choose to either go deeper or you can choose to extract with all your loot. And if you choose to go deeper, you're risking the current cargo hold. So there's a little bit of risk involved. And then there's the reward when you extract. But if you do choose to go deeper, you're going to get way better loot. It's just going to be harder with the enemies and stuff like that. So that's the basis of the game. All right, Axo, thank you for joining. Yeah, join back anytime, anytime. We making it out of the 7-Eleven dumpster with this one. Yes, sir. I was looking at one of the games that I'm working on that's more quality. It's the one with UK Darky. And if you look at the monetization difference between that one and then one of my like hide the games, it's like night and day. Like brain rot games, they make really like almost nothing. You have to have a ton of CCU to make money off of them. Kebab, how's your game going? No, I wish I was a full-time dev. I have a full-time job and I have a side business doing web design and marketing, but this is kind of just like my third endeavor, but this is honestly the most fun. Like if I could be a full-time dev, that would be the goal. Okay, so the reason why this loot detection zone isn't showing up is because I have this tag called local delete, so I'm going to remove that. Local delete just basically deletes the part on the client. So here's the detection zone. So every time I bring loot into this detection zone, it's going to register that I'm in that zone and pull the loot off of my body. So I'm going to turn can collide off. Coding a trading system? Yeah, we do need a trading system in this game for sure. But I use a lot of AI, so I can kind of like blast through these scripts pretty quickly. Okay, so now we're gonna display the loot. So I know kind of what we're gonna need because I've set up the architecture in my head. So I'm gonna need to open up the inventory service. And this is a script that Sensu built, which is one of the partners of this game. And he should have a function here to display the loot or to return the loot. Okay, move to ship inventory. So this moves it to inventory server dot ship inventory. So in here, I'm going to require and what's super nice is when you have like a set structure, I don't know if Roblox's IntelliSense is getting better, but it seems to like instantly know where everything is now. So I feel like it didn't do that before, but it's auto-filling great, so. Oh, so Kebab, you're coding a trading system for your game, so that's boring. Are you using like unique IDs to make sure that you track and don't like duplicate things? No, it really is, Landon. No, I'm telling you, like if I was a full-time dev right now, I would be the happiest. So sometimes the way I'll prompt AI is if I know kind of like a really good idea of what I want. In this case, I know I want to display the objects and I know how I'm grabbing the objects. Every time I move the objects to ship inventory, it's going to be stored in this little variable right here. So I am going to say, yeah, UIDs. No, I know. Full-time dev can make a ton of money. It's just like you really have to have something that takes off. Like a game or two that takes off to support yourself. Or just get your bills super low, like if you live at home. But right now, my bills are not low, sadly. Okay, so I'm gonna tell the AI that the inventory server lives in ship inventory, inventory server.ship inventory, and then I'm gonna say we gotta also hide the food's doing okay, Glober. It's got like 50 to 100 CCU, and then we kind of asked AI for some ideas on how we can basically like refactor the game, and we ended up with a game called Hide the Boys, which is like a comedy game basically where you're hiding boys. They spawn in and you're hiding them. There's different maps. It's basically a copy and paste of Hide the Food. But that game did super well. Like it's constantly 1 to 2k CCU. And then last week it hit like 7k CCU. So the game's making good money. I think in one day it made like on its peak day, it made like $500 or $600 in one day. So I was super happy about that. But that's not like the usual. Definitely not. Yeah, I was super happy about that. Okay, so I need to basically the way that the system's gonna work is it's gonna pull the data from the inventory server ship inventory, which is basically gonna return, I believe, insert ID and amount. So it's gonna insert the ID, which is I assume is a string, and then it's gonna also give us the amount of how many of the item is there. Those are the two things we need to take account of. So it's going to take those strings and then it's going to replicate it into this box. So what I need here is to show it where these models live. So I know these models live in replicated storage shared assets. So yeah, Glober, you do, because you're like the master idea person. Glober, remind me, what's your skill again? I think you told me you model, right? Also, if you declare your services with RS or SSS for like server script service, then you're just lazy, like me. Oh, I don't know why I thought you did modeling, Glober. I don't know why. Oh, Lua, if you use SSS, you're so lazy, bro. I don't know what to tell you. You're cooked. Just like me, I use RS and SSS. I can't be bothered to type in server script service. It's just... Yep, we're done. SSS. I don't care. Man, you gotta be careful with plugins though. Plugins can freaking get you a virus. Someone could like get you a plugin that has a backdoor in it. Oh, it's popular? I don't use SSS because I don't like how it looks. I usually use replicated storage or server storage. No, that's cursed. You put it in all caps. Is that a normal thing? I've never seen that. All caps is cursed. I'm sorry. With no underscore? Yeah. That's psychopathic behavior. I'm sorry. Okay, so dot loot. So now we're telling it where the loot exists. And the loot is going to be named specific things, so we can use that to our advantage. We're gonna need a function, a global function, or a function that we can expose to other scripts that are requiring this. So we're gonna do display loot, that's fine. And then we'll have like a local function that grabs the model. Yeah, Glober, what you said, just the replicated storage server script service, just the capital first letter, that's usually what I do. Or no, that's usually what I do if I'm like working with people or if I really care about organization, but if I'm just trying to speed up, I just use RS or SSS. I know it's not the greatest, but... So here we're declaring a local function, because this function is only going to be used within this module, but here we're exposing an open function to actually call the display loot in the game loop. So here, you know what? We're gonna probably want to. We're gonna need to call display loot multiple times, and it's gonna have to detect what's already in the actual loot system, so that it doesn't like have to redo every time. So I think we're going to probably have to do this in the loot detection zone. Yeah, so I might put this, I'm trying to think about how I want to do this structure. I might put this in here, because it's kind of using that. Capital looks better. I'm drinking straight black coffee. I don't know if you can see that. But straight black coffee, that's a coder's fuel right there. Okay, that sounds good, Duffable. Thank you. Okay, so this script is basically setting up a detection zone so that when the player walks in, it detects their that they're walking in and then moves all of their items over to the ship inventory array. And we're gonna have it also, every time they move in, we're gonna have it utilize the loot ship displayer. But I'm wondering if I should just, if this is just gonna be such a small module, I'll probably keep it separate. So I think this might be enough for AI to kind of understand what I need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and copy this. And that's another thing about AI, like you have to know what context to give it. A lot of these new AIs, they want to like like Lemon. I don't know if you guys have heard of Lemon, but these AIs want to like scan your whole game and basically allow you to prompt from there. But the problem with that is scanning your whole game is expensive. Like scanning every script in a game, especially a big one, is going to use up so much money that it's not even worth it. So if you understand like a bit of scripting and context, you can give it the right context you need. Like you don't need to send it your whole game, especially if you're separating systems in your game and you're just working on one individual system. You can just send AI the parts of that individual system that you know it needs to actually like complete the change you want. So if you know scripting, like using AI is so much cheaper too. And faster. It's scanning a whole game would take forever. Okay. So I'm sending AI these scripts. It's pretty good, but it uses a lot of credits and there's a limit, so it sucks. That's what I'm saying, Landon. Like, for a thing like Lemon to scan your whole game, it's gonna be so expensive. Like, that API costs so much. So you're gonna get limited tries on it. And, I mean, it's just a mess. Like, if you know how it should be built in your mind, then you can give AI all the context it needs and be hyper specific about your requests. It's gonna be great. So here I'm sending AI the loot ship displayer and the loot detection zone. And I'm gonna tell it I need to place Y'all are amateur AI users? Of course, man. You gotta maximize what you got. Okay, I never understood like the AI user roast, because it's like, I mean, if you use it properly, it can like 10x your production. So why would you not use something that 10x's your production? Does anyone know like the counter to that? Because I get like people complain about AI for creating ideas like brain rot games and stuff and just like complete garbage. But if you come up with the idea, you come up with the system, you develop the architecture, and then you ask AI to speed up your workflow, like that's like saying no, it's definitely 10x, man, if not more. Are you saying it's more or less, Richard? So it makes programmers think they're more productive. But actual software development, I don't know. I mean, just from my perspective, right? Like, I was able to build games that I know in the past from people, like, before I even started coding, that would have taken, like, I don't know, 10 months to a year. With AI, you can kind of build that in a month or two. So, I think it just depends on how you use it. Like, I think longer run, if you're using it to just completely replace proper architecture and file management, it's not going to work out. It's actually going to be, you're going to have, it's going to be, you're going to think that you're working faster in the beginning, and then you're going to get to a point where the scripts are so unworkable that it actually slows you down. So I kind of agree with that, but I do think that if you use it right, it would actually just speed you up. Okay, so this is what AI sent. And when when I prompt AI, I like to understand what it's doing. So here it uses the locate model function that I told I wanted. And it's going to give me a warning, model not found. That's perfect. It's going to clone the model and it's going to return that over to whatever's calling it. First problem here is that when it's searching for the model, it's searching it in shared assets. But if we look in shared assets, the model is not going to exist directly in here. It's going to shared. Hold on, let me rename this. It's driving me nuts. There we go. It's going to look directly in here and it's not going to find the set model name. So first issue here is I'm going to make this recursive. And if you guys don't know what recursive is, if you set this to true and use find first child, it's going to look in here, and if it doesn't find it, it's going to look into its descendants. So this is a super powerful call that you probably don't want to use on big structures because it's gonna eat up a lot of memory. But in this case, where it's just 5 folders and they're gonna have like a couple different items in each folder, it's not gonna be that expensive. So we're gonna keep it that way. Here is where it's getting a random point inside of the detection zone. So I told it that I want it to randomly spawn things in inside of this detection zone, and this is where it's doing that. Richard, what do you do? Are you a coder? Oh, that's sick. Okay. So what languages do you know? Okay. Yeah, you sound like you're deep in it. C++, Python. Python's definitely on the list for me. I want to learn that. Okay. That's sick, man. So do you make apps and stuff like that, or what's like your what do you do on a day-to-day basis? Okay, so here I'm adding the item. So it's going to skip if the item ID already exists. So I assume later in the code we are going to assign item ID so it doesn't refresh the whole floating loop. Here is where we can remove an item, which I don't really see us needing to remove an item ever, but it's kind of cool that it gave us that function. Sync with inventory. So here is where, let's see. Okay, so it's pulling from the ship inventory. It's going to build current. Okay, so this is where we're assigning IDs. Remove items no longer in inventory. So this we might not need. Okay, so basically if ship inventory ever loses an item, which it never really will, this will also account for that. So I guess that's cool. We don't really need it, but I'm going to keep it in there just in case we ever need to remove an item from the ship inventory. Okay, and then here is the display loot call that we're going to have. And then this is how we destroy all the items. So, I mean, this would have taken me, what, 15 minutes to write? 15 minutes to write and test, probably more, 30. But I kind of gave it the exact structure I want, and I can go through it a lot quicker and kind of approve it. So this looks great. I think it's important not to just let AI run wild with your scripts and then just, if it works, just keep moving on. You should definitely look into to make sure there's not too many like redundancies or bad structure. All right, thanks for joining, Richard. That's awesome, though. Keep up the good work, man. That's sick. So we're gonna go ahead and test this now. We're gonna have to use it in our detection zone, though. So in loot detection zone. Where is God new? Oh, you know what I did? I accidentally overwrit the detection zone. This is supposed to go here. There we go. And I have to fix what I was doing here. Oh no, this is all good. Okay, so in detection zone, under new. So every time a player enters and it moves the player's items to the ship inventory, this is where we're gonna want to connect the our new call. So loot ship displayer, and we're gonna do display loot. So this is display loot, and okay, we might actually want to be calling sync with inventory. Oh, well, this is what that does. Okay, so this is perfect. I don't know why. See, like, this is something that AI does that's pretty stupid. It made two functions that are exposed, and this one literally just calls this one. So this is a completely redundant function. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna delete this one entirely, and we're just gonna use this one. So let's see how this works. Ban this for errors. So here we've got some loot, and we're gonna put it in, and I don't see it. Did we get any errors? No, we didn't get any errors. Let's look at our script again. So when the model gets cloned, where is it going? If not model or display container, then return. So I'm gonna say for warn. So I'm just gonna add some warnings here. Position random in zone. Okay, so if it's a model, it's gonna use pivot, and then it's gonna parent to the display container. And where's it pulling the display container? One part. Okay. So where is it declaring this? That display zone. Okay, so it looks like we needed to call set display zone because right here we're specifying that the display container is the zone part which we have to pass through, so we never actually did that. So let's go ahead and under loot detection zone, whenever we set up a new detection zone, that's when we're going to want to set that part. So we're going to say loot chip displayer set display zone, and we are going to give it the container. Go ahead and see what happens there. Pick up some loot if we can find any. Here we go. Put it in. Okay, so it took our loot, but we still don't see it. But it should be parenting to the actual detection zone. Okay, let's do some print statements. Okay, so the model is being found. We're not getting this error, are we? No, we're not getting this error. The parent is going to be okay, I'm not seeing it appear at all. So that means it's failing before any of these print statements. Okay, let's run some print statements here. Just looking for the problem here, so we're just going with the shotgun approach to see where it's failing. Oh, I got this, let's see. I don't have stairs yet, so every time I get that building part, I can't use it. Here we go. Okay, so this is good. We got this to print out. So we got all the way to sync 3. And then it says 4. But then it's, let's see if it runs add item. Okay, so it's not running add item. So it's stopping right here somewhere. So as you can see, it prints this out, and then we go over to add item, and it's not printing this out, which means it's not running add item. So that means something here is not running right. So let's go ahead and copy this. So it's probably failing. I mean, we can print this loop to see what happens. Oh, what am I doing here? Hold on. There we go. So it's definitely going to run this loop. Oh, I don't think this adds new items. Okay. So it's failing somewhere in this for loop. Let's see if it does that. Let's see. Wow, I cannot find loot. We're gonna have to increase the loot odds just for testing. Here we go. Man, I do not know how to get back. Here we go. Okay, so it's literally just not... Okay, let's add this. It's just not looping through the structure that we have correctly. That's what's going on. So we are going to print... No, so the whole naming convention for descend is you're just going down into the earth. So you're descending into the earth. But there is going to be some pretty big rooms, some small rooms. And there's going to be some verticality to the map, so you can go up and down. So we are going to print out this structure. I didn't build this inventory system, so I'm just going to print out exactly how it's storing things. That way we can loop through those things correctly and add them. So. I'm going to try to collect 2 items here, just to get a good idea of the structure. I mean, 1 item is enough, but... There's another item. See, like, there's going to be some verticality here where you can go up, but obviously I don't have stairs yet. Oh my gosh, I can't pick this up. There we go. Shard. Okay, so here's the table. Oh, I printed the type. Hold on. Let's actually just print out what this looks like. Gosh. I need to extend the distance that you can pick things up from. Sensu, who's a coder in our game, developed the whole inventory system. It's still a work in progress. It's pretty nice though. Okay, so there's actually just nothing. It's just returning nothing. It's an empty array. Or an empty table. So that more implies something is going wrong with the item system. So Glober, are you still there? Do you have any projects that you're working on right now? Oh yeah? What kind of video is it? Oh. Okay, we're gonna turn to see if we can create a slop game. How many people are you working on that with? That's cool. I love those challenges. Holy crap, that's a lot of people. Is there any like popular YouTubers that I would recognize in, or is it kind of just you and your friends? Tortoise, no. Let me look him up. Is he a Roblox coder or like a developer? Just a tortoise. Okay. Okay, yeah, I found his channel. That's sick. I don't see too many dev stuff here though. It just looks like he's like a commentary YouTuber. What kind of dev is he? Is he like a coder or a builder? Oh, that's sick. Sorry, I'm back. Okay, so let's go ahead and generate this. There's not going to be any more verticalities anymore, and we're going to see some more unique rooms. So we'll take the pickaxe. So Glober, it's 10 coders, or is it like 10? Are you all working on one game? There we go. As you can see, oh, well, now it's duplicating. It added 2 pickaxes, and it's adding a pickaxe every time I go in. So what it's doing is the unique ID part isn't working correctly. So it's just going to duplicate every single time whatever's in the ship inventory. But we're pretty much one step away from getting this to work. So let's go ahead and go into our loot displayer. So it's 10 of you guys working on one game. That's actually insane. Who's managing that project? Is it like one person's managing it? Or are you all just kind of like doing whatever? See, I just asked AI about this issue of it duplicating, and it thinks that it's because my player entering the zone is firing multiple times. I know that's not the issue. There's proper debouncing in the system that I'm using, so I can communicate that with the AI, but if you really didn't have any coding knowledge, you might have just taken its solution and ran with it, and you would have just been wasting more time. So I can kind of correct it and say, no, that's not the issue, it's related to this, and then it can fix my issue a lot quicker. Do you know what the name of the YouTube video is going to be, Globert? Okay, let's go ahead and see if this item is duplicating in this system right here. So move to ship inventory. So every time it inserts, I'm gonna print here. I'm gonna see if it's duplicating on the actual item management array or table, or I'm gonna see if it's duplicating every time I want to display it. Okay, so here we're inserting one time. Let's try again. So each time it is inserting a pickaxe. So that's the problem. So the problem isn't with the display, it's actually the it's actually reinserting the pickaxe every time. So we need to check if the player actually has any items, because I'm not sure, without looking deeper into this system, I'm not really sure why it's not being cleared every time we insert. So I'm going to actually just copy this. Okay, this looks good. Still doing it. Okay. Let's look at our player. I'm actually curious. So inventory, we have a shard. And then that removes it. So it looks like it's removing correctly, but every time I insert, it's running it back. So So what's happening is it's not clearing, it's clearing the actual item in the, I guess, the duplicated item that it makes in my folder, in my player's folder, but there must be this player inventory dot slots must not be clearing correctly. So player inventory a Thank you, Glover. I'll check it out. Okay. See ya, Glover. Thanks for joining again. Okay, so there's just something I'm changing with this system. The way that it tracks each player's temporary inventory in the game, it actually goes out to this template module. So I'm just gonna change that to all be handled in the script. So I asked AI to switch that up for me. So let's look at the current structure now. So local player data managed here perfectly. Helper to create inventory, perfect. And I don't know if it created this or not, but that's nice. So, okay, let's go ahead and try this. We got the shard back there. And now we are no longer duplicating shards. So as you can see, it's going to just be floating there for the player to see, which I think is pretty cool. I think I want to add like a display zone so the player can like walk up to this, but the actual display is gonna be like a part shouldn't randomly be spawning outside of this display zone. So I'm gonna make like an inner square for the actual display zone and then refer to that. Okay, so the loot detection zone's there, and then the display zone's gonna be right, kind of display right before this line right there. And we're gonna make it a little bit smaller so things don't clip out. There we go. So it's going to display in here. And then now we have to rewrite a little bit of our code to make sure it goes to that display zone. So here's where it gets a random position and puts it inside of that zone part. We're gonna switch this to say this display part, and then we gotta pass in the display part when we call this. So here's where we are going to local display container is equal to, or display, should we call it? I mean, this is technically the detection zone. let's go ahead and how is this not throwing out a warning? Display container doesn't exist. Just changed it. How is it not throwing out a warning? Go ahead and try that. So now this should put it inside of the actual display container. Did I not just make the detection zone? Oh crap, I know what I did wrong. Still in workspace, that's the problem. Take that out. Delete the old spawn room. Where did it go? Dude, what? Where is my detection zone? Oh, you know what? I have it set to local delete. Right? No, I don't. Oh, but this is set to local delete. Ugh. Okay. Maybe we don't local delete this. We just make sure that it's transparent. There we go. So there's the piece of loot. And I think if it kind of like floated up and down and rotated a little bit, that would be cool. Which I think I have a script for already. So if I tag it with rotate object, should rotate it. Let me make sure it's not setting a new every time. I just need to tag it rotate object. So what I'm going to do is when it displays the loot, when it displays the loot and it adds the item, and it parents it, we're going to say model collection, refer to collection service. Okay, let's go ahead and see if the objects start rotating in the air. They are not rotating. Let's make sure that they actually got the correct tag. They do have the rotate object tag, so we're probably just not initializing the script. I don't think we're doing that. I'm gonna do it client side, because the server doesn't really care if these things are rotating or not. It's just purely for looks. And when you have things that are purely for looks, Usually want to run it on the client side, so you don't bog down the server with unnecessary movement. So. Now it rotates. We just need to put the zone a little bit further back so it doesn't clip like that. Mm-hmm. We're also going to add a hover option in here. So for this rotate object script, I'm adding hovering functionality. So like as it rotates, I'll use my water bottle for example. It's like rotating, but it's also hovering up and down. And I'm just gonna make that an attribute so that I can dynamically set the variance in which it moves up and down, so that we can just get some different options. So let me paste in my new rotate object script. Oh, that's not right. Here we go. The options. Hi Squigums. Okay, so we're gonna add a hover object. Thank you. So we're gonna do model. What's the call? Attribute? Set attribute. And we're gonna set the attribute of hover object, and then we're gonna do point or math.random, and we're gonna set an upper and lower limit for how much it can hover randomly. Probably set it to 1 and probably set it to like 0.2. So now that should cause it to hover. So let's go ahead and see. Go ahead and see how that looks. I don't think that's hovering at all. Got the hover object 1. It's not hovering at all. I have a feeling that the hovering doesn't work on models. The problem is that the script that AI gave me is looking for a... I wanted it to work with an attribute, which is what I told it, but I'm pretty sure if you look at the rotate object, let's look at what it's looking for hover. So it should work on a model. Trying to find where it's pulling the hover data from. Get hover amount. Let's see where this pulls data from. Okay, so it's literally looking for an object called hover object. So it wants me to create a number value, but I don't want to do that. I want to set an attribute. So let's just change this to getting the attribute. Hover object, and then if hover value exists, then hover value dot value, or return hover value. We don't need to do dot value because it's not an object, and that should do it. Still not hovering. Go ahead and see if it actually took it. Hover object 0. It should not have been set to 0. Let me go ahead and go into the set attribute and then the lower and upper bounds. Yeah, it should make it impossible to set it to 0. Okay, for some reason it set it to 0. I don't know why. Now it set it to 1. Let's try that. Oh, you know what? There must be some sort of bounding. So either it's probably doing a what's it called? A clamp or a just hard setting it to an integer. It doesn't want to take in a decimal. So let's see if AI can find it here. Oh, wait, does math.random clamp it? I think it does. That's why. Yeah, how do you do math.random with decimal? I don't think I've ever asked that question. I think math.random clamps it. That would make sense. Okay. Yeah, let's just make a we're gonna make a function that I can call at any point. And we are gonna put it in math service, which I don't see here. I'm gonna pull it from my other game. Yo, Kebab, are you still there? Or did you leave? How long until you finish your game, you think? Oh, calc service. That's what I named it. Calcs. In here. Convert number to letter. Flex price, format time. 24,000 years is crazy. Yeah. Get calc shared. You're lazy. You don't seem lazy. I feel like you're always working on your game when you're on. Do you just play like too many video games or what is it? Okay, so in my calcs shared, I'm gonna add this new one. 2 week phase on Minecraft started. So you're just playing Minecraft all day? Isn't building a game kind of like Minecraft? He said brick by brick. Okay, so this random decimal I've added to my math shared library so I can call a math.random for a random decimal now anywhere. So I'm gonna go ahead and run that in my loot displayer. First we need to reference the calc shared module. Realistically, this should go into utility modules. I'm gonna move that there. Delete this. Kebab, have you ever thought of just like speed running a game creation and just going like seeing how fast you can create a simple game and just releasing it? Um, okay, so instead of math.random, we're gonna use our new helper, calc shared dot. I swear we just put that in there. Oh, it's a local function. Here we go. Man, where did my display loot? Yeah, you should try it, Kebab, because I feel like you have such big ideas that they require like so much time. Um, hey Skaith, what's up? I'm making a game that we're naming Descend. It's basically like Repo if you've played that, or Lethal Company, or if we're referring to Roblox, Deadly Deliveries. But basically, you enter a facility and take a bunch of loot and try to extract while avoiding enemies. Pretty simple concept, but we're gonna try to make it more fun. Random instead of math.random? I actually don't know the difference. What does random do? Let me look it up. Since when is math.random deprecated? Are you kidding me? I did not know that. So random.new is like the new kid on the block? Since when? What can you do with it? Returns a new. Random is like their new global. Okay, let me look at the documentation on it really quick. Oh, so next number would pretty much do what I need it to do without having to basically make my own method for it. Is that what you're saying? Dude, thank you so much. Yeah, screw that. So, okay, so let me see if I do this right. So I'm gonna do um this. So I don't even need my calc shared reference anymore. I didn't know Roblox had a built-in function, built-in method, I mean. So we're gonna do random dot new, and then documentation says to use, so you use next integer if you want it to clamp to an integer, but you use next number, next number, and then I give it basically the minimum and maximum. Or map, hold on. What do you mean, declare the minimum and maximums? Okay, so, okay, let me try that out. Okay, okay, let me try that. So, how does this work? So I just give it a seed. Is this just a random number? Oh, it's using an optional seed. Okay. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, so let's do my upper and lower limits. Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, I gotta call the method, not a function, it's a method now. Oh, crap. I moved where calc service was located, so now I gotta fix that. Okay, let's try that out. Let's see if it actually gave me a random number. Yeah, 8 or 0.819. Can you set like the max uh like what if I wanted to stop on the tenth place? You know what I mean? No, like what if I want to give it one decimal? No, no, yeah, rounding pretty much. But like is there a way I can do just call it like math.random and then round it to the tenth decimal place? I know I could probably make my own function that does that. But is there like a built-in one already that I can set like the parameters to be the 10th decimal place? So you're basically just use my own, just create my own math, really. Okay. Um, Honestly, it's fine the way it is. I was just wondering. So I need to make that hover a lot slower. I want to see what that looks like one more time. Yeah, it's hovering way too fast. So humanity lost. How long have you been scripting for or coding? Holy. Did you start out with Lua or um did you start out with a different language? Like that. Yeah, that's so clean. So all the loot will kind of float in place here. You started out with Java. Were you like more into web development or um app development? Yeah, that's super clean. You were forced by your school. That's funny. What were you going to school for exactly? Thank you, Squigums. Thank you. And I'm going to put a highlight on the actual um display zone. It was an IT class during middle high school. I do Roblox dev for a living now too. Do you do it full time? Because I kind of just do it. I mean, it's starting to make money now, pretty decent money, but it's not like enough for me to go full time yet. But that's definitely eventually the goal. Do you? That's kind of cool that you made it like your source of living. What games do you have? Or do you just do commissions and stuff? Am I tripping? Why isn't this highlighting? What? Am I crazy? Well, it's not. This one's not fully transparent. Is that why? Oh. Since when does highlight not work on transparent parts? No, what? Oh. Wait, hold on. I don't know why I've never noticed that. So even if it's semi-transparent, it won't work? Hold on. That's crazy. So I'm just gonna need to make um how do you fix that? Making it a model? You think that'll work? Hold on. Let's see. Let's see if you're right. I think I just did that. Here's the model. Here's the highlight. And then Adorny. I don't think that works. Now make a make a non-transparent part. Okay, I see what you're saying. Do that. We'll just make it like some tiny little part down here. Oh man, it only does the ground. It only does the non-transparent one. Having it inside of another part? Okay, bet. Thank you so much, man. Or what if I use the selection box? Does that work? Because it's a box anyways, so why not? Let's try selection box. Man. Oh, I didn't set the Adorny. Okay. Oh, selection box works. Um, oh, but you can't see it through walls, can you? No, you can't see the selection box through walls. Yeah, that's a deal breaker, because that's the whole point. That's so garbage. Yeah, there's no setting that allows me to see it through walls. Oh, that's so lame. Okay. I'll just have to build a... Man, I really wanted that. That's so lame. Humanity, are you a... Do you just do commissions, or what's up with that? Oh man, thanks for checking though. I appreciate it. So what do you do? Do you just make pretty much just make games? Passive income. Do you have like percents that you have already gained and stuff? You got to teach me the ways, man. Struggling out here. Do you have any games I can check out? Oh, that's fine. No worries. Yeah, of course. That's sick though. That's kind of like my goal. Why do you think you were lucky? Did like something take off or um really? Are you saying becoming a dev is not skill based? He pushed out one of your games? That's so sick. Man, I have to go get lunch. Are you gonna make another game? Like, are you gonna keep doing this, or are you just living off the passive income, chilling? What do you mean? Like the income is bad, or like what do you mean by that? Hmm. Ski video high res. I mean, I don't know though, because like I think that's what's trending, but if you actually look at like if you pull up charts and then instead of looking at top trending, if you look at like even if you look at well, I guess yeah, a lot of it they do have gambling mechanics. But a lot of them are quality games. I mean, The Forge is going crazy right now, and that's a pretty quality game, but yeah, every game does have like some sort of RNG. But I feel like that's not specific to Roblox. Like it started with Overwatch doing the loot boxes, and now every game has like a loot box, some sort of loot box mechanic. So I don't know, is that really like a Roblox specific thing, or is that just like the gaming industry as a whole? I think people like RNG. It's What was I doing? Oh yeah. Going to... A lot more aggressive on Roblox. I could see that. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Moving to Godot instead. I'm more of old school. I don't like to have gambling in my games. Hey, I can't argue with that, man. I think you just gotta have a balance, because if people like RNG, you know, it's inevitable. Like, you're gonna have to include it somehow to be competitive. But I think you can still make a quality game with, you know, like some RNG involved. But it doesn't have to be like, I don't know. It doesn't have to be super aggressive. It would be cool if I can pick up items with clicking. Another huge argument, of course, is the amount of revenue you lose on Roblox. What do you mean, like the percent that they take? Is that what you're talking about? They take like 70, right? Yeah, they do take a big chunk, but they also give you the engine, the servers. They're doing a really good job updating it and making sure it syncs across platforms. Because like, what other gaming engine could you just pick up, make a game that instantly works on like every platform? Talking like console. Yeah, it's free multiplayer, free servers, free analytic tools. It's almost like, I almost feel like it's fair, you know? Don't get me wrong, like, could they probably afford to give a bigger chunk to the creators? Yes, but the fact that there even are creators means like most people probably think it's a fair split for how much quality of life they provide. For me at least, those features aren't needed, so I wouldn't lose that much switching engines. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be person to person, like depending on the type of games you want to make. Usually the higher quality games aren't going to be ran on phones either way. So if that's what you want to make, like high graphics, high quality gameplay for the computer, then yeah, you're almost better off going with like a different engine. Most of Roblox users are like phones and tablets, I'm pretty sure. So your game really needs to be like optimized for that. Alright guys, I'm ending the dev stream here. We didn't get too much done. This is my first stream. But we got the items actually working. Or the items, rather, the display working. The items were already being picked up and working. So thank you guys for those that stayed. Yeah, enjoyed talking to you too, man. Feel free to join anytime. I love talking to people that have the same skills as I do and like talking about it, so I will see you guys later.